Banff Springs, a mile above sea level in the magnificent Canadian Rockies, one of the highest golf courses in the world. A match between Stan Leonard, Canada's outstanding golfer, 7 times Canadian PGA champion, winner of the Western Open and the Las Vegas Tournament of Champions, and in recent years a top contender on the American circuit. And Jack Burke Jr., in 1956 Golfer of the Year, Masters and PGA champion, a 4-time member of the American Ryder Cup team and one of the game's finest shot makers. And to take you through the match shot by shot, Gene Sarazen, winner of every major golf championship. I'm George Rogers, and this is Shell's Wonderful World of Golf, a series of international golf matches played on the world's most famous golf courses. This week, Banff Springs, Canada. We are at an altitude of over 7,000 feet. The Banff Springs Golf Course is 2,500 feet below us, surrounded by the towering peaks of the Canadian Rockies, a setting of astonishing beauty. The course is built along the banks of the Bow River, just below the spot where the swift-moving spray comes down from the mountains to join it. This is a land of mountain goat, deer, huge elk, and black bear. Miles of protective fence are needed to guard the course from the hooved animals who tear up the turf and the curious Bruins who collect golf flags as trophies. Many years ago, the Banff Springs Golf Course was the site of one of the most unusual contests in the world. Indians came from nearby reservations to take part in the tournament. While their opponents used clubs and golf balls, the Indians used bows and arrows. Par for the course, using golf equipment, is 71. The official Indian record is 53. Each year, the tens of thousands of tourists who visit the majestic Canadian Rockies find the renowned golf course one of its major attractions. Adjacent to the famous Banff Springs Hotel, the course has been brilliantly designed to take full advantage of the spectacular natural features of the countryside. And at every hole, there is an unseen hazard, the wind. Of true championship caliber, superb bunkering, long, lush fairways separated by tracts of untouched forest, large rolling greens, Banff Springs is a course equal in scope, conception, and boldness to the magnificent terrain in which it is set. This is George Rogers together with Gene Sarazen on the practice tee here at the Banff Springs Golf Course in Alberta, Canada, where Jackie Burke and Stan Leonard are just about completing their warm-ups before the match. Gene, I guess on the many golf safaris you've been on, you've had a chance to play this course at one time or another.
Yes, I have, George. I was here about 25 years ago when I was on a trip to Australia with Helen Hicks.
How would you say Jack Burke is hitting the ball this morning in practice?
Well, he looks very good, you know. He has improved his swing an awful lot. It's got beautiful rhythm.
Seems to me that we have 2 very sound players here.
Yes, Stan Leonard. You know, I haven't played with him for several years, and he shows a great deal of improvement.
Well, they're just about finishing their warm-ups, Gene. Jack, good to see you again. How are you?
How you doing? Hi, Squire.
Hello, Jack.
How are you?
Stan, nice to see you.
Gene.
Hello, Stan.
Welcome to Canada, fellas.
Jack, how do you like Banff Springs?
Gene, I must say it's one of the prettiest places I believe I've ever seen. You know, Gene, these people here in Banff don't have a great deal to look forward to, though, when they go to die and go to heaven, do they?
Gene, down through the years, I guess you played a lot of competitive golf against the Burke family.
You said it. You know, in 1924, his father beat me in the PGA Championship 9-8, and that same day, Jack Burke Jr. was born. And 24 years later, he beat me in the PGA at Oakmont.
You know, I got an 8-year-old coming along for you, too.
Well, I'll have to keep practicing, Jack.
Gene, would it be fair to say that Stan here is probably one of the outstanding golfers that Canada's ever produced?
Yes, he is. He's one of the best hitters of the ball I've seen in a long time.
Stan, how do you account for the fact that you've improved so tremendously over the past, maybe 6 or 7 years?
Well, George, a few years ago, I made a few minor changes in my grip, which resulted in me shortening my backswing, which is going to give me a little better control of the ball. And then from there, I went to finishing school, which is the American Tour, of course, and picked up a few dollars.
And a little knowledge.
And a little knowledge.
Gene, it's a long walk up to that first tee. Maybe we'd better get going.
Good luck to both of you boys. We'll see you on the first tee.
Best of luck, fellas. An enthusiastic but chill gallery here for this match between Stan Leonard and Jack Burke, Jr. The temperature's in the low 40s. That's Bob Bray with Gene Saracen. Bob is one of Alberta's top amateurs and our official referee today. There's the toss of the coin. Burke calls it, and Burke has the honor. The first at Banff Springs, a 479-yard par 4, doglegging to the left, is one of the most beautiful opening holes in the world. The elevated tee is nearly 100 feet above the swift-moving Spray River, and the lush fairway beyond is framed by magnificent forest. The tee shot should be kept away from the dangerous hillocks on the right. The medium-sized green is well protected. Now, here's Gene Saracen.
Our match today is between Jack Burke and Stan Leonard, 18-hole stroke play competition. Burke's pushed that one. He's well out there, but in that rough on the right. Stan was brought up in British Columbia, just over the mountains. He's very much at home in this rugged country. At this altitude, both players should be hitting the ball tremendous distance off the tees. Both are playing the American ball. A beautiful tee shot, perfect line, a little right to left draw, a terrific drive. Leonard, 315 yards out on the fairway. Burke, 280 in the right rough. Jack's got a 4-iron. He's over 200 yards from the green, but he has no chance to play a wood from his downhill lie in that tough grass. A very fine recovery shot, nicely played. Jack's left himself about 60 feet short of the green. Stan Leonard is very much aware of how important the wind can be on a course like Banff Springs. Right now, it's just a gentle breeze blowing towards the hole, and Stan will play a 7-iron. Stan plays these short irons very well. He uses a lot of hand action, and he hits these pitches with a great deal of snap. A beautiful shot, covering the flag all the way. Stands about 20 feet from the pin. We're getting some sunshine, but they predict snow squalls for later in the day. Burke's third now. Jack's playing a sand wedge. It's slightly more lofted than the pitching wedge, and it has more flange. It reduces the margin of error, and you can hit the ball more firmly. A good one. About 10 feet from the pin. Stan Leonard has a 20-footer for his birdie. Stan's a good putter, not one of the game's best, but always dangerous. Look at that break. Stan played well to the left of the cup, but he wasn't expecting that much break. Both players will have their troubles on these greens. You have to use less arm action and putt with the tips of your fingers. A 4 for Stan Leonard. Jack needs this putt for a 4, and he'll be playing it to the left of Leonard's line. A golfer is always looking for information, and Burke's certainly got plenty of it watching Leonard's putt. He's being very careful. And he holed it for a 4.
On the second, a two-shotter, 382 yards long, Stan Leonard and Jack Burke, Jr. matched par 4s. After a pair of excellent tee shots, Burke was hole high with his approach and two-putted for a 4. Leonard's second shot finished 20 feet to the right of the flag. And he just missed his try for a birdie when his approach putt stopped a half-inch short of the cup. The third at Banff is a beautifully set par 4, 376 yards long and doglegging to the left. The entire hole is severely trapped. Along the left side, a series of bunkers stretches for over 100 yards, while on the right, one of Banff's most gigantic traps parallels the fairway. Around the green, several rough-covered hillocks, and still another series of bunkers.
Burke still has the honor. He has a fine rhythmic swing. A good one, way out on the left side of the fairway. Another beauty, dead center and 5 yards beyond Burke. Burke will be playing an 8-iron. A little fat. He hit too much behind that ball. Jack doesn't like to force his iron shots. About 30 feet short of the pin. So far, Leonard's had the advantage of watching Burke play first to these tricky greens. A 9-iron for Stan. A fine shot. As on hole 1, both players will be putting on exactly the same line to the cup. But this time, it's Burke who'll have to putt first, and Leonard who'll be picking up the free information. A 30-footer uphill. Almost. Just one more roll. Stan Leonard now, 20 feet below the cup, trying for a birdie 3. Let's see how much Stan learned from Jack's putt. The correct speed as well as the correct line. The crowd is very quiet here. Stan's an old friend to a lot of these people. He's played the course many, many times. He holed it. A beautiful birdie 3.
After 3 holes here at Banff Springs, Stan Leonard leads Jack Burke Jr. by 1 stroke. Burke is playing par golf, and Stan Leonard is 1 under. The 570-yard 4th, the par 5, is the longest hole on the course. Traps are generously dispersed on both sides of the fairway, with a paved road and heavy rough along the right. The road is in bounds. About 440 yards down the rolling fairway, a series of deep bunkers. The golfer must hit 2 excellent woods to carry them and set himself up for his pitch to the green. In today's late season match, 2 drives down the middle. Leonard, 250. Burke, 240. Here again is Gene Sarazen.
The strong winds bringing those traps up ahead into play. Burke has a 2-wood. The wind is drifting it into the bunker. Leonard with a 2-wood. Notice his slightly closed stance. He'll try to draw the ball and get all the distance he can. Looks very good. Oh, he got a bad break on that beautiful shot and kicked into the shallow trap. He's about 55 yards from the pin. Jack Burke's 3rd. He's 125 yards from the flag. It's beginning to snow now. A very difficult shot. Jack has to pick that wedge up sharply so he doesn't catch the sand on the way back. He has to get the ball up in the air very fast. Boy, it's cold. He hit a perfect shot. It's really coming down now. Stan Leonard playing 3. He has an excellent lie. The sand here at Banff is heavy, but the golfers prefer it to the sugary kind because weather-beaten sand like this is firm. Your ball doesn't bury in it. What's more, you can gauge your shot better coming out. Just a little too much, about 20 feet past. Jack's putting for his 4. He's a good putter, but I'm sure this biting cold is affecting him, and the bright snow on the green is making it difficult to judge distance. Just short. A par 5. The last time I played in the snow was back in the Australian Open in 1936. And believe me, it wasn't much fun. Leonard playing his 4th. A straight putt. Very little break. The snow certainly isn't helping any on these greens. Two pars, and Leonard still leads by 1 stroke.
Millions of years before these mountains surrounding Banff were formed, strange monsters of the Mesozoic age roamed the area. Tourists on the road to Banff can visit these models, whose ancestors, buried with other organic matter, became part of Canada's rich oil deposits. The never-ending search for these deposits is a vital task in which Shell Oil Company of Canada is taking a leading part. The search for oil is never easy, but in the vast distances of Canada's west and northwest, it is especially difficult. Landing strips must be hacked out of the wilderness so men and equipment can be flown in. Sometimes the search takes men into a kind of super swampland, the muskeg. This special equipment was tailor-made for such terrain. Before it was developed, men and heavy drilling rigs could be moved over the soft, sticky mass of decaying vegetation only during the months when the muskeg was fully frozen. Now, operations can go on in many areas previously inaccessible because, even fully loaded, these trucks are 3 times as light on their feet as a man. Often, the hunt for oil is a lonely search, taking shell men, like this geologist, high up into the Canadian Rockies. But this search can find only where oil is likely to be. There is only one way to discover for certain if the oil is there. The drilling must start. For days, weeks, even months, the work goes on. The drill goes down, probing deeper and deeper into the earth. Very often, the probe is fruitless, but when oil is found, the rig is taken down and the well is capped. The pumps go into action to fill these tanks where the oil is stored until it is moved halfway across a continent to the refineries. Gathering oil into such storage tanks from the wells calls for the laying of hundreds upon hundreds of miles of pipe. Why does this search for oil go on and on? The answer is written all over the face of Canada, in every village, town, city, as here in fast-growing Calgary, just east of Banff, the signs of a swiftly expanding economy are to be seen. Striking new office buildings in the heart of the city, a new home for cultural pursuits, new industry, all demanding an ever-increasing supply of petroleum products, supplied in good part by men working under the sign of Shell. Sign of a never-ending search for new products, new ideas, new ways to serve you better. After 4 holes in this 18-hole match at Banff Springs, Canada for Shell's wonderful world of golf, Stan Leonard leads Jack Burke by 1 stroke. Jack Burke even par, Stan Leonard 1 under. The 5th at Banff is a straightaway par 4, 438 yards long. With a complete absence of fairway traps, most of the trouble on this hole occurs around the green. long, narrow, and built on 2 levels. As Burke and Leonard stepped to the tee, the snow squall had given way to sunshine, but the cold wind was still very much in evidence. Both golfers, however, hit fine drives. Leonard, 250 yards down the center. Burke, 248 down the left.
Jack Burke is away. He's playing a 3-iron, a lot of club for this shot. He pushed it into the bunker on the right. Jack eased up on that one. It got away from him. Leonard's playing a 4-iron. A good, firm shot, a beauty. He almost hit the flag with that one. Jack's playing 3 now. You notice how he opens the blade? He has to explode that ball a long way. Look at that backspin. Massive Mount Rundle dominating this beautiful landscape. Burke putting for his 4 now. Not quite. A bogey 5. Too bad after that fine bunker shot. Stan Leonard has a very delicate putt for his birdie 3. A little downhill and a little break to the left. This green is very fast, and the cup is not in an easy position. Almost. A par for Stan, and he leads by 2 strokes.
Stan Leonard maintained his 2-stroke advantage on the 6th, the beautiful, difficult par 3, 178 yards long. Both men hit the sloping green with their 5-irons, and then took 2 putts to get down, a pair of pars. On the 7th, an interestingly designed par 5, 513 yards long, Stan Leonard picked up another stroke on Jack Burke Jr. Burke was on in 3, and 2-putted for a conventional par. Leonard followed his long opening drive with a spectacular 2-iron to the green. This left him a 23-footer for his Eagle 3. Nonetheless, a fine birdie, and it put Stan Leonard 3 shots in front. The spectacular 8th at Banff Springs, a par 3, 175 yards long, is more than a golf hole. It's a landmark which no visitor ever forgets. In front of the elevated tee, a lovely lake. And all around the bowl-shaped green, the magnificent Canadian forest. Although there are other complications for the golfer, the dominant feature here remains the lake, so clear the bottom is plainly visible. Once again, here's Gene.
More people miss shots on this hole than any other at Banff because they're not thinking of golf. They're looking at that beautiful but dangerous water hazard. Stan's got a 7-iron. A beauty. Stan really placed that one. Jack Burke with a 6-iron. Too much club, bouncing up a bit too long. Jack has a very tough downhill putt. On a slick green like this, you can stand out there all day, and it's even money you'd never hold this one. He barely touched that ball, and he's 3 feet past the pin. Leonard has one great advantage on this course, local knowledge. Jack learned a great deal during his practice rounds, but Stan has years of experience here. It'll be an uphill putt against the grain for Leonard. He's 11 feet away. As they say in golf, never up, never in. A 3. Jack's putting for his 3 now. He's 3.5 feet below the cup, and on this green, he'll have to be careful. Jack uses